Hello, astrologists and scrumple-dunks, coming to you from the Fully Vaccinated Club in Burbank, California. This is the Film vs. Film podcast. I am your host and Season 3 loser, Quinn Boys. Leonard made me announce myself that way. And speaking of, I am joined by my co-host and Season 3 champion, Leonard Smith Jr. Leonard, how's it going? How's your summer?
Season 3 champion here, Leonard Smith Jr. And summer's been cool. It's been fun. Just basking in my glory. You've been
doing a lot of basking.
A lot of basking. I saw Quinn. He's putting on this garage show with a former guest, Jeremy Olsen. He had a ringer in. He still couldn't win the season.
Are you coming after Jeremy?
Nah, they put it on a great garage show. We saw each other. It was fun. Had a good time. We had to take a little break after the beating, but
I thought I was just giving you space for your hot boy summer. I don't know. I assumed you would be out there basking all summer, so I didn't want to cramp your style.
Yeah, I thought my summer was going to be a little hotter than it was. It wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. People grow, people change. But no, it was a good summer. When I visited a few places, did a lot of stand-up, so that was good.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. We've both enjoyed a little bit of the time off, but really most of it has been me avoiding watching my Season 3 Punishment movie. Just building up to it. I didn't want to look at this movie like you might not want the doctor to tell you the test results of a bad scan. I was avoiding it like a cancer, which is appropriate because the film that you made me watch, our listeners who've heard previous episodes this season may remember. And actually, this has been a running theme for me since basically we've been doing this show. Is I made the mistake of telling you I don't like what I would, I guess, call weepies. I don't like movies that are kind of designed to make you cry. I don't seek them out. I'm not saying I've never seen movies that make you cry, but I tend to avoid them. And this one, The Fault in Our Stars, I actively avoided because I remember when it came out. I remember the hype around the book, the movie, the soundtrack was big, everything, and I was just like, hard pass on this movie when it came out.
The soundtrack was big?
It was big in my fiance's car. I know. I bet you there's some songs that if I played, you'd be like, okay, I remember this song. I don't think they were making it under your rotation, Leonard, but you would recognize some of these songs.
I would know a few of the tracks.
We're going to go through the soundtrack at some point, and you're going to be like, never heard of this one.
Never heard of it.
Oh, yeah. But that's what you made me watch, The Fault in Our Stars. The 2014 Shailene Woodley, Ansel Elgort, two lovesick regular sick teens fall.
Wait, they're both sick?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I only thought one of them was sick.
Well, let's just get right into it.
Wait, but no, this is great. Shout out to Corey once again for giving me this information. I've been sitting on it for a couple seasons.
Betrayed.
And this episode might have happened sooner, but I told Quinn whenever you're ready to watch it and I'm ready to record. It took him some time.
Well, I'll just cut to it right now. I did take a lot of time watching because I'm like, I just don't want to watch these two kids like holding hands in separate hospital beds. Like, God bless everyone who is ill and finds it's a touching story. I was just worried it was going to manipulate me into crying because I give up the tears more freely than you might expect if you otherwise knew me. I'm a pretty cynical person. I'm not that emotional, Leonard. You can speak to that maybe, but like,
I can speak to that very much.
I will cry I'll cry if I make myself watch the Sarah McLachlan like "In the Arms of the Angel" dog commercials. So when those commercials come on, I turn them off because if I engage with the material, you're gonna make me cry. But if I'm like fuck this and I change the channel, then I don't think about it. I'm a fuck this and avoid the topic thing. But you made me confront it and I enjoyed this movie, Leonard.
Oh, no.
Your Season 3 Punishment. When I finally sat down and turned on the live stream to watch this movie, I thought it was a beautiful love story, and it emotionally, I grew. I think I grew. My heart grew a couple sizes, And while I wouldn't have chosen to watch it, I'm glad that I had to because I think I took a lot away from it. Your punishment failed.
This is honestly upsetting, but the adult in me is happy that I helped you grow.
Yeah.
Because I also am the same way.
I made you watch The Green Lantern, which is 2 hours of just
and
shit.
I was upset the entire time.
This is a nice movie. It's heartfelt.
I mean, I believe this is a nice movie.
Yeah.
I am like you. I am cynical. I've been a cynical, skeptical person since a child.
Right.
I have never seen any of these fucking Pixar. I've never seen Finding Nemo. I've never seen Up because I choose not to watch it.
Right. Well,
I don't want to watch Coco. Okay, I'm sorry.
And when you lose season 4, not even if, I'm not going to make you watch Up because that's a good movie. And the point is I'm trying to make you hurt.
Man,
so
it backfired on me.
So walk us through the other steps of your grand punishment, because the first thing so far is you've suggested a movie which I enjoy. So 0 for 1.
Well, I'm sure Corey just wins. Corey won season.
Yeah, she just wanted to watch that movie with me because she was the one who wanted me to watch it back in 2014. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do this.
Okay.
You also bought me a shirt.
I bought myself a shirt, and I figured if I bought myself a shirt, I might as well buy Quinn a shirt.
Yeah.
As well. If you follow us on the social and you're listening now, you would have seen the photo.
Yep.
It's the back-to-back season 2, season 3 champion shirt that I will be wearing, and the big loser shirt that Quinn will be wearing. If you notice in the shirts, Quinn's name and loser is much bigger than mine on my name because I don't necessarily care about winning. I care more so that he's the loser.
I think you care about winning a little bit, but
yes. I care about winning.
But no, I didn't exactly know what the shirt was going to look like. I came over to record. First of all, it's nice to be back in the same room with you, man.
Yeah, it is nice. We've been doing this thing over Zoom for a long time.
Doing it over Zoom. It's nice to be back in the same room, but Leonard ruined that reunion by handing me a shirt which says back-to-back loser, and loser is as big a font as any other entire block of text. Like it says loser over the belly of the shirt. And you also put Quinn Boys. You put Quinn Boys over the breast so that like if people just see this shirt and don't even know who I am and they're like, well, what's this FVF podcast and back-to-back loser? That's maybe fun. I'm like, oh, this guy, his name is Quinn Boys. So like you're advertising me as a loser. I'm not just wearing a shirt that says whoever this guy is a loser. It's like, oh no, this guy is Quinn Boys, a loser. So I appreciate it. This shirt,
you don't have to know anything about the podcast to know. You just know Quinn lost something twice in a row, or that he's just a loser. The quick look is, oh, that Quinn Boys is a loser.
When you lose season 4 of the Film versus Film podcast, Leonard, I'm just gonna get you a shirt that just says "Fuck Leonard Smith Jr." No context. You'll probably spin it into a positive because sex is your brand, But yes, so that is the second part of the podcast. We will have posted pics, I think, by the time this episode is out. But I'm gonna have to wear this shirt. We'll have to go back and look through the ink of the contract. This detail. I don't know how much I have to wear this shirt. I think I have to wear this shirt to all upcoming family events. I think I have to wear it to my wedding. I don't know.
Yeah. Now he doesn't have to wear it to his wedding, but the wedding rehearsal. He has to wear that walking the
Absolutely
wedding
not.
rehearsal.
Absolutely not. So let's just get down to the film. We've got some bookkeeping, about this is the final. It took a little bit of time, but this is the delayed final episode of season 3. We always end the season 3 with the punishment recap episodes. And we'll talk about season 4 coming up maybe towards the end. But what we're in it right now is to talk about the 2014 drama/romance, The Fault in Our Stars, a movie Leonard has not seen. He just gave to me because he knew I would not enjoy it.
Yeah,
but I did enjoy it.
I'm not getting punished. Maybe I would have become enlightened if I had watched.
I had a good cry over it.
Okay, not enlightened, but maybe I would have cried. I cry at everything, by the way. Like I cry at I guess because I'm so cynical and whatever. So if anything touching or like raw emotion happens, I cry. Like those ESPN like Sports Center special stories.
Can't watch them.
I mean, I will watch those, and then I always cry. Like I remember when Jimmy Johnson, the coach on the Fox NFL Sunday show, found out he got the Hall of Fame like while he was on set, and like just Bill Cowher found out. Like I watched those, and I for sure cried.
You only cry when you find out. adult men have made the Hall of Fame.
Dude, I cried at the end of the Vince Vaughn movie where he finds out the sperm bank gave all of his sperm to oh my so he
God.
had like 40 kids. It was this goofy ass movie, and I cried at the end of that.
Wait a minute.
I can't remember the name of it, but I was in the movie theater with my girlfriend at the time, and I for sure cried at the end of this movie. I'm just a crier, man.
I can't admitting to crying in any Vince Vaughn movie is.
I know.
But I need to figure out which one this is because I remember this.
The worst was like I was on a date.
Delivery Man. Of course, it's called Delivery Man. You cried during the Vince Vaughn movie Delivery Man, the IMDb premise of which is an affable underachiever finds out he's fathered 533 children through anonymous donations to a fertility clinic 20 years ago. Now he must decide whether or not to come forward when 142 of them file a lawsuit to reveal his identity. Jesus Christ. What movie is this? This came out in 2013?
Yeah. I saw it in theaters.
There's no way it's good.
I saw it in theaters. Me and my ex.
Chris Pratt is in it?
Me and my ex went to the movies all the time. I didn't go to the movies for a long time because I was just like, all these movies suck. And me being me. And then I saw like Dark Knight a bunch of times. But then we would go to the movies all the time. So we just saw a buttload of movies. And that was one of the movies. And I cried during it. And
how do you represent 532 children on screen? Are there just like wide shots with just you can't focus on
they focus on like
two
six or eight of them, I think.
Jesus, that's a lot of games to catch.
Yeah, so it was crazy.
Dewey Cox Rock Hard.
I only saw it that one time though. I haven't seen it ever again. Why would I ever rewatch it?
Because it made you cry. Struck
movie,
an emotional chord in you that you did not expect.
My worst crying situation though, like where I could was A Star Is Born. I saw Star Is Born in theaters.
Sure. Star Is Born is one of those movies too where I would have avoided it if that one felt unavoidable, but I knew that one was going to make me cry, and it did.
Yeah.
What got you when he peed his pants at the Grammys?
That was really sad, actually. That was very sad. And I was honestly embarrassed in the theater. First of all, shout out to Lady Gaga and to Bradley Cooper because they fucking acted their asses off in there. If they weren't fucking, good Lord, that acting was amazing.
That's true. You can't fake chemistry that good.
That chemistry was crazy.
I think they at least did some hand stuff to get there.
For sure did some hand stuff.
It's not cheating if we're just doing hand stuff
when you're
for
just
the
doing
role.
hand stumps and you have to look each other in the eyes the entire time. But no, I was on a date with this chick. It was maybe our second or third date. And I was face is wet, nose is runny, snotty nose. And I was at the AMC 6 or something in the Burbank with the small theater with the big chairs.
Okay.
So I was right by the door. And as soon as the credits rolled, I just darted for the door and was the first one out of the theater.
You left your date?
No, we were
okay.
She was a few steps behind me, but I was just moving it, and then I just went. I was gotta go to the bathroom, and I just went to the bathroom and washed my face and wiped all the snot off my fucking face. It's ridiculous.
That is right. Was it which scene specifically? Was it the "I'll Never Love Again" Lady Gaga song, or was it just sort of? You know what got me? Isn't that I've only seen this movie the once in theaters. Probably haven't seen it again because I know it'll make me cry. But it's the dog. Doesn't the dog see him go into the garage or something, and the dog can't get in, and he's kind of whining outside the door? Because you know what's going to happen at that point. And I think the Lady Gaga song, which ends the movie, "I'll Never Love Again," I think is what it's called. That just allows you to kind of just do those ashamed wipe away tears sort of moments, and then just okay, all right, this movie's ending soon. I gotta get it together.
Yeah, but then the song just makes it worse, I think.
Yeah, it definitely keeps you there.
Dude, it was the whole thing. But yeah, it started with him going in the garage.
Ooh, I got it.
And them getting to finding out, and the paramedics and them being there, and then her singing, and I just couldn't stop crying.
I got it. It's the moment. This is one of a couple moments. Those moments also made me well up, but the moment where who plays his brother? The guy with the deep voice, cool as the
Sam
Rockies.
Elliott?
Sam Elliott, thank you.
I can't believe I remembered his name.
Good job.
Yeah. Celebrity names.
I had Sam, but I was never going to come up with Elliott. He's driving away because Bradley Cooper tells him sort of something about like, you know, because he's so much older. He's like, we never had parents like
Oh my God.
your
He
parents.
starts
And then
crying.
Sam Elliott drives away. A man with a mustache that is so masculine is driving away, and they just sort of stay on him driving away. And you see him, he doesn't cry, I don't think, but you see him like really fighting back the
that's
urge
what
to
it
cry.
is. Yeah.
And that got me. Like
Yeah.
that triggered my
I'm
cry.
sure that got me too.
Yeah.
I got a lot in that movie.
That's a stupid movie. Let's never watch that movie again. We will talk about The Fault in Our Stars at some point in this podcast, but we just wanted to touch on. I got one more movie that made me cry. You don't watch Pixar movies.
What is it?
Toy Story 3. You've never seen it?
I don't think I've seen it. I've seen the first two.
All right.
And that was like, I've never seen Shrek.
Shrek won't make you cry.
I know.
But
I watched The Incredibles a couple months back.
Incredibles is good.
That movie was dope.
The Incredibles has a moment that kind of gets you when he thinks his whole family just was killed in that plane.
Yeah.
Incredibles is good. No, but in Toy Story 3, there is a moment, spoiler alert for anyone that hasn't seen Toy Story. I don't imagine you care, Leonard, but they don't die. But there's a moment where they're in a trash compactor. I forget how they get there. All the toys, all the gang. And it is being, I don't know, it's a trash compactor or something. A conveyor belt that is basically leading them to a furnace in a junkyard. So they're about to be burned alive, or as alive as you can be when you're plastic. And they're struggling to climb back up. Like, this is like a kid's movie. They're trying to climb back up through debris, through garbage, so they can get out before they're burned to death. And they look at each other, and one of the toys says to Buzz, like, what do we do, Buzz? And Buzz has a look of calm realization on his face, and the only answer he offers, he doesn't say anything, is he puts out his hand. And they takes his hand, and they all just start holding hands. And you're watching a bunch of toys that I've had a relationship with in my life for like 15 years since the first Toy Story came out, except death. You're watching all these toys except death. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I brought my sister to see that movie, and she was like, when did this movie come out? She was like 8 or 9 at the time.
And she had seen the first two, obviously.
Yeah. But I don't know. She'd seen them for sure, and she liked them. But they're like foundational for kids our age if you watch the Toy Stories, because that first one came out and we're about the age that Andy is, and then the second one comes out, and like the third one is about Andy going to college and getting rid of his toys, which is sort of sad in its own way. I was like, I cannot cry more than my sister at this movie. So like I had to like furiously try to like dab out all those tears before the lights came up at the end of the movie. Anyway, I think we have established we don't like movies that make you cry. And so you had me watching The Fault in Our Stars, and you didn't even make me. If you go back and listen to the episode, I was like, oh, I got to stream it. You're like, we don't need to do the stream thing. But I was like, I want to stream it because I need a level of ironic detachment to stop me from just getting swept up in the actual emotions of this movie.
Son of a bitch.
And we'll, I guess, talk about later if it got me ultimately, or maybe I already said that did. But this is a movie, to finally get into it, about Shailene Woodley, who plays, I want to say, Hazel Grace Lancaster. That's a white name, Leonard.
That's whiter than my name.
Hazel Grace. That's whiter than Leonard Smith Jr.
Lancaster.
Hazel Grace Lancaster. She plays that character growing up in the suburbs of Indianapolis. She has thyroid cancer. It had spread to her lungs. She was part of a clinical trial. They kind of yada yada this. This is like in her back. She got it when she was like 12 or 13, and now she's 17. Maybe even younger. But anyway, we meet her at 17, and she's telling us her story. And she was basically dead. She was basically like, you will not live. But then they tried her parents, played by Laura Dern, is her mom, tried her on this experimental trial, which she wound up responding to and saving her life. So now we meet her at 17 years old, kind of constantly living in the fear that her cancer will come back, or that this treatment that she uses that has been effective for her will run out. It'll have, there's a scene where she meets a doctor, one of the doctors, the clinicians that kind of is running the trial, and he's like, no one's ever kind of made it this far on this trial, so we don't know if eventually your body will stop responding to it, or if the cancer will figure out a way to evolve past it. So she's living with on borrowed time. And she has that kind of an outlook of like, what's the point of living if like you're just waiting for your next scan to come back negative or positive. So she meets at a support group, and it's kind of a funny scene. It's like it amounts to mostly a cameo, but it's like this. You ever Fight Club, where they're like he goes to support groups and they like meet a bunch of chairs in a gymnasium somewhere, and there's like it's like that. This movie has a lot of parallels with Fight Club.
Support groups.
I've never been.
I love you like Fight Club. I'm like, okay.
All my support groups references are from films. Anyway, she's there, and it's run by Mike Birbiglia, who's like plays a real like Jesus, like acoustic guitar songs about Jesus, and like how does that make you feel? So they have like the movie has good fun, kind of poking fun at that whole support group vibe. But she meets there Augustus Waters. AKA
Bro, what
Gus.
is up with these
We gotta
names?
talk about these names. But well, Augustus Waters is a less ridiculous name than the man who plays him, Ansel Elgort. But
Wow.
you know Ansel Elgort?
Sure. I know.
Okay. Well, he's gonna be in the new Spielberg West Side Story movie. He was in Baby Driver.
Oh, I know him.
He was the Baby Driver.
Oh, yeah. I know him. I think I do know.
Yeah, he's run into some controversy, which we can, I guess, leave aside for now. But is this to say this was kind of his break? Shailene Woodley, this was sort of the peak of her popularity. She had done, what was that movie with George Clooney in Hawaii? The Descendants. And she'd been on like that movie on ABC, that show on ABC Family where she was like a pregnant teenager. She was like hot. Shailene Woodley was hot in the streets in 2014. Leonard. That's what I'm trying to say. And Ansel Elgort was like on the up. So they meet at this support group. Ansel Elgort plays a guy who had cancer in his hip, and wound up having to get the lower part of his right leg amputated. Oh, you don't really. Shit. You said you didn't realize both people were sick in this movie when we talked about it before, but he is. But the kind of whole thing when you meet him is like he's come out the other side, or he's like just about to. We think that he's past it. And also like he wears jeans, so you don't really ever the prosthetic leg is like I didn't think about it that much. Like every time it kind of came up, I was like, oh, that's right. But yeah, he's hobbled. And I should say Hazel, Shailene, she kind of always needs an oxygen tank, so she wears the I don't remember what it's called, but
that's why. Okay, so I was like, just to make her look sick all the time.
Well, yeah, because I was curious about that too. I'm like, why does she have there's a medical term for this that I don't know, but the tubes. Why does she have the tubes in the nose?
So she has to have them there all the time?
If she's not in the hospital. And it's because she carries around an oxygen tank. And it's because her cancer affected her lungs, and I think they say she's got like half of a good lung or something. Like she gets winded going up and down stairs. So she lives a very limited life in that sense. But as you can imagine, Ansel Elgort...
she can't ride roller coasters.
She probably cannot ride roller coasters.
Damn.
Yeah, they don't address that specifically in the movie, but
I was like, what's some things that she can do sitting down but like still have a good time? But I was like, she probably can't ride roller coasters.
She can watch movies. Sucks. She can. There's a whole thing about going on an airplane, which she'll get to. Well, yeah, like she lives physically she lives a limited life, a little bit. So the movie is Gus charming Hazel in the first act, kind of making her see that yes, she doesn't know how much time she has left, but the time that she does have left is worth making something out of. And so they fall in love. She a little bit reluctantly to form a relationship with anyone. She refers to herself as a grenade at one time, which back in 2014, if you call yourself a grenade, that's a Jersey Shore reference. That's the girls that they wouldn't want to get with at the clubs. Yeah,
but jump on this grenade.
In this moment, she means someone who is volatile. She could blow at any moment. You don't want to blow up your life by getting involved with her. And Gus is like, no, I love you. So it's very sweet. She gives him a book by this reclusive author, kind of like a Harper Lee character. He wrote one book. The author's name is Peter Van Houten, Milhouse's dad. The book is called An Imperial Affliction. I kind of got the sense that it was supposed to be like, what's the name of that guy who wrote, oh no.
I don't know about books, Quinn.
Okay, we'll keep going. So it's like a 3-person name and it starts with David Foster Wallace. Anyway.
David Foster Wallace.
So she emails this author that writes this book that she likes because she sees a lot of herself in the main character of the book. The author emails back and is like, if ever you're in Amsterdam where he lives as a recluse, come see me or something. And so she takes that as like an actual invitation. And Gus, her boyfriend, well, he's not really her boyfriend yet, but he's trying to become her boyfriend. He's like, I still have my like Make-A-Wish wish. He's like, I still have my genies. They still owe me a wish. Did you know that people that grant wishes to sick kids are genies?
Wow.
I'm not doing the bit with you. That's what they say in the movie.
No, I believe you.
I just didn't realize, like, in the same way that like people who play Mickey Mouse at Disney World are actors, or people who make sandwiches at Subway are artists. Like, people who grant wishes to dying kids, they call genies. If this movie is to be believed.
That's you know what? I'll let them have it.
This is a very corny movie. All right, I'm earnestly describing to you. I'll start to go more quickly through it. But he uses his Make-A-Wish dream to get tickets for them all to go to Amsterdam to meet this author. Now, there's a whole thing about
his parents, her parents is his parents.
Laura
involved?
Dern comes with them. Okay, his parents don't.
But
so
it's the three of them.
He's also not really sick anymore, so it's sort of like he's like, I got this wish banked, which is another thing I didn't know that you could do.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, she used hers on Disney World, so she can't use hers. She used it way back when, so she can't use it. But he's like, I got you. So they go to Disney. They don't go to Disney. They go to Amsterdam with Laura Dern, and
the drug addicts Disney World.
Yeah. Disney for Leonard. They do not. She's not able to smoke weed. Oh shit.
Oh, she can't smoke weed.
I haven't talked about one of my favorite. No, because she's got half a lung, Leonard.
I know.
So she meets Ansel Elgort, their little meet cute, when she's talking to Gus outside their first support group. He takes out a cigarette, puts it in his mouth, and she goes, "You know what? How could you? All these people here with cancer. You see me? I've got an oxygen tank. You ruined it. You ruined this meeting." And he goes, "Wait. This is Gus. Gus is like one of those annoying types. Like, he has to be dying to be less annoying in this movie. He's one of those annoying types who's like whimsical, but like, I got you. Like, you know, very like confident in his like bullshittery. So he goes, "No, I don't smoke. I don't light the cigarette. I just put it in my mouth. Because you take the thing that kills you and you hold it between your teeth, but you never give it the power by lighting it." And I'm like, this motherfucker, that's such a high school bullshit thing of like, Leonard's giving me a face right now.
I hate this character.
Yeah.
I officially hate this character.
Well, you're in
like how many packs does he buy? Does he buy?
I don't know, but he has a pack of cigarettes.
Is it the same cigarette?
You only don't even need a pack. You just need one cigarette if you're never going to light it.
I mean, it's going to get gross after a while. It might break. You need like 5, 6. I hate this guy.
He's on the airplane. First of all, he calls it a metaphor. And it's like, I guess it's a metaphor, but it's just pretentious. But they're on the airplane flying to Amsterdam, and the stewardess comes up to them, the flight attendant, I apologize. And she says, "Sir, no cigarettes. You're on an airplane," which is like, no shit. Good job, flight attendant. That's correct. And then he goes, "Oh, it's a metaphor. I don't ever smoke it." And then I don't remember how that scene ends, but it should end with her being like, "I don't give a fuck what you do with it. Put it away." Like, tell me.
Hilarious.
So that's the kind of movie we're dealing with. But also, Leonard, this movie is for teens. So I had to.
And he's also a white man. He might be a teenager, but he's a white man. He does what he wants.
He is 18. Yeah, he's a white man.
He's a full grown man. Yes, then
you don't want his life, Leonard. Wait until I keep going. All right. But yeah, this movie. I'm 30 years old now, and I'm less and less. Yeah, thank you. I'm less and less comfortable watching teens fall in love.
I hate teenagers.
I can watch movies where teens fall in love from when I was a teenager, but I hate it not even for like the cringy aspects. I just feel weird as a 30-year-old watching like two teens make out.
See, first of all, Quinn, me and you, we just get along.
Yeah.
And I am just going to go ahead and say it here now. You probably hear it in my stand-up at some point. What the fuck is up with America's obsession with fucking teenagers in high school and middle school, bro?
I don't think it's just America, dude. Romeo and Juliet is like 500 years old.
It's true.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I also think like this is
it's a human thing.
Yeah.
I hate it. Like,
yeah,
dude, we all have to grow up. Like, we all grow and have to get older. We got to start somewhere. Just because you like get over your childhood, get over your teenage years.
Yeah.
Stop fucking living in the fucking past. And stop being obsessed with fucking teen dramas and weird. That's weird, bro. I just think it's weird.
It's weird for adults to be obsessed with them, yes. I think collectively the fascination, if I can earnestly answer your joke question, is that like, one, people that have never experienced these stories are born every day, and then 15 years goes by, and then they're the target audience. Like, you know, you're making the movies for the kids that are that age.
Oh, I mean, I get that. I understand that.
And two, I think there's something about like that moment where you become you become romantically aware. Like there's that thing of like when you turn 12, 13, whatever. You know, it's different for everybody. But like obviously it goes hand in hand with puberty. If it goes hand in hand with having the urges to match those romantic desires. But like I agree, despite those things, I agree with you that I am now at an age where I feel uncomfortable. I feel too detached to watch young Ansel Elgort and young Shailene Woodley like get it on. And this movie is not graphic in its love scenes, but there is a love scene.
I mean, I guess I do appreciate the fact that some people had childhoods that are very memorable to them and they're romantic about it, so they write about it. So I get that. But like I don't reflect or romanticize anything or even care about like my middle school or high school experience. So I could never write 8th grade. I could never write anything like that because I don't ever think about I don't ever think about that shit.
You did write a script called 8th grade, and it was just about you jacking off a lot.
Literally.
But it was not as
I was
poignant.
grounded. It was just me being grounded my entire 8th grade year and just beating off.
Yeah. Much less cinematic than
I really didn't write that, but that was literally my 8th grade year.
What were you grounded for?
Man, I fucking...
You're like so ready to go into this.
My dumbass... I moved a bunch, so like I had lived in North Carolina with my mom, and then after 6th grade, I moved back to Lynchburg to live with my dad, and so I moved back 7th grade. Ever since I was a kid, I was like in the gifted program or whatever the fuck I'm doing.
Brag.
Whatever. So when I went back to Lynchburg to the same school system I was in, I got put in like the honors classes, which means it was like all white kids and like 4, 5, 6 black kids in each class, maybe.
Okay.
And we took all the same classes together. So the 3 other black dudes who I was in class with, I became like best friends with.
Sure.
And me being me in a class clown, I just got in so much trouble in 7th grade. Me and all my friends were trying to see who could get like the most detentions and like, ISSs and shit. Just like
what a game!
I know.
To win is to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Game. And I was just wilding because I had been living with my mom, so I was just wilding.
Who can get the most detentions?
And
Bravo.
That shit did not last. That shit lasted 1 year with my dad, and I literally was just grounded. I was grounded until like every report card, and then if I had a good report card, like my dad would let me like do something, and then I'd fuck up again, and then I'd get grounded again.
Did you ever tell him like, Dad, the point of the contest is who can get the most detentions? I should be rewarded.
Oh no, he was pissed. He was pissed that I was disturbing other people's other kids trying to learn. That was his biggest issue. So I was grounded my entire 8th grade.
All right. Well, back to Amsterdam. They get there. They meet the author, Leonard. Who do you think it is? It's a famous person. Do you know anything about the cast?
Robert Downey Jr.
Close. It's Willem Dafoe.
What?
Willem Dafoe plays this famous recluse
Willem Dafoe's
author.
in this movie?
Willem Dafoe is in this movie, and he doesn't show up until about halfway in. And he's a dick. He's a drunk. He, Shailene...
Shout out. I'm so happy because that's real life.
Right. Yes. And... I don't know what Harper Lee was like, but it is sort of just to name another author who wrote one book that, and this book is fictional, but one book that everybody loved and made them a cult icon and then went away. That's very Harper Lee. So he's sort of just a bitter drunk. He's like drinking in the morning when they meet him, and he won't give the answers that Shailene wants from this book because the book. I forget really what the plot is, but it ends with this character dying, and it ends like mid-sentence. And what she wants to know, and this goes back to her arc with her own parents, is what happens to everyone else in this girl's life once she dies. And the author is like, nothing. It's a book. Like Willem Dafoe drunk is sort of like, it's fiction. It's not real. And then she goes, I know it's not real, but like you're the author. Like you can tell me. And he won't have it. He won't give her that.
That's a pretty big ask on her part. She's tripping, dog.
Yeah. She's really stepping all over the creative process. He's like, listen, I can't make something up for you. But actually, she does say at one point, she's like, make something up. like make something up. And so that experience sours her a little bit. But then she and Gus finally get it on. He's there for her. I swear to God, they go to the Anne Frank house to like wash away the bad experience of meeting this author. And then they start making out in the attic of the Anne Frank house.
Oh, boy.
Yes. I found that a little odd. But these two kids are dying and they don't have much time, so it's not my place to say what. And they wind up going back.
I'm not making any jokes there. There's for you to be nah.
The whole thing of me watching this live stream was me being like, what is okay to joke about? Like I was... I don't want to be So they go back. He's a virgin, she's a virgin. They make love. Then I think like the next day he's like, I gotta talk to you. And they sit on a park bench and he says, before we went on this trip, I had a pain in my hip and I got some scans back and it's all over for me. He's like, the cancer's back in my hip. It's in my chest. It's in my lungs. It's
good thing he used that wish.
Good thing he used that wish.
Good thing he used that wish.
And he hadn't told her till then. And the rest of the movie is kind of preparing for his inevitable. So the
third act of the movie is just preparing for him to die.
Pretty much.
This douchebag.
He gets sick, obviously. Like he gets physically, hobbled. And, there's a very kind of a touching moment where he asks her if she would write his eulogy. She would speak at his funeral. She'd write a eulogy for him. And then they have this scene where he's got another friend who they know from the support group who has lost both of his eyes to cancer. But he's not terminal. So he's kind of his best friend, and Shailene Woodley is his best friend, also his love interest. And so he has this scene where he asks her to come down to the church where they will eventually, have his funeral, and just the two of them, they read their eulogies for him. And goddamn, if at this point I was like, I knew it was going to happen. I knew how this movie was going to play out, Leonard. I'd not seen it. I didn't read a plot synopsis, but I knew when you see Shailene and she's got the breathing apparatus, that the other guy's going to die. Because you go into the movie being like, well, Shailene's gone for her. But that's what they want you to think. And then they introduce this guy, Gus, who I think it literally at one point is 2 months and then I'm in remission. 2 months and then he hits that 5-year post-cancer period where likely you may not, you can expect it to be much less likely for the cancer to reoccur. He's almost out, or at least as out as you can be post-cancer. And then, of course, it's he gets it, he's going to die. And I knew that was coming. And he does. And she reads a different eulogy. He gets to hear his actual eulogy, and then she reads something a little bit more, boilerplate at the actual funeral. It's he got to hear the real one, and then everybody else got to figure.
Well, no. Everyone else got to hear the real one that was told at his funeral.
Well,
so he didn't get the real one.
He did get the real one was fake. The fake one was real. You follow?
Tom don't know that. People don't know that.
Anyway, the movie's ending. Willem Dafoe shows up at the funeral.
Oh my god!
The author. What was his name? Oh yeah, Peter Van Houten, Milhouse's dad. He shows up at the funeral and he's like, I have something for you. She's like, fuck you, man. I don't need you right now. And he's like, I have something for you. And it's an email that
he
had sent to Van Houten about all the things he felt about Hazel but could not articulate. And I think he'd helped him kind of punch it up. He's like, he has a line. He's like, I'm a good person but a shitty writer. You're a shitty person but a good writer. If I tell you what I like about this person, can you help me make this up? And I don't even know how much of it winds up being his own words or edited or whatever, but the movie kind of ends with him writing Gus writing Hazel's eulogy, even though she's not actively dying, but probably doesn't have a ton more time left. And she's grateful. She comes to that point of yes, I don't have a lot of time left, but I had a moment of forever with this person in this short amount of time that I have. And sometime around there, I shed a couple tears. And when the movie was over, I had to blow my nose and, go for a walk. But I felt ultimately it was a good movie. And certainly if I had someone, or if I was someone in that situation, I'm sure there's a lot to take from it. Maybe people are in that situation no, this is bullshit. I can't pretend to know what that viewing experience would be like. But with all the sensitive, kind of heartfelt, cheesy moments that there are, the fucking fake cigarette and all that stuff, I guess I was giving it credit. It's these are high school kids. I do feel it wasn't overly twee and whimsical. They had just enough where I was I can stomach this, but it's not infuriating to me. And they felt more realistically high school kids as kids who are dying than did Bella and Edward from the Twilight movies, which is just, there is no, like, they're in a high school, but these aren't high school kids. I don't recognize any of these kids. The one like, and like, there's a scene where Gus's friend, the one who has lost both of his eyes to cancer, his girlfriend broke up with him before he had to get the surgery to remove his other eye, because she's like, I can't go through with that. And which, that feels real. That feels real.
Yeah.
And so they're like, listen, you got to get this anger out. Let's go egg her house, which also feels like, if you're in high school, that feels like a real way that you might retaliate. And so they get out of the car and they start egging her house in broad daylight, but he's blind. So they're like trying to help him sort of line up his throw. Yeah. And then this is like one of the few moments I thought was like genuinely funny. I laughed. That's why I'm talking about it. And Shailene is like, shouldn't we come back when it's dark? And Gus just goes, it's all dark to him. And he goes, dude, I'm blind. I'm not deaf. I can hear you when you're making fun of my disability. And I felt like a little bit of that, like that is a sort of fatalistic humor, I guess. But it's also like, first of all those kids are dying. They can all say whatever the hell they want. But it also felt a little bit like how high school kids would still handle stuff like that. Like, they're not like, let me ride my motorcycle 80 miles an hour and stop just before the cliff. Like, that's overly dramatic. This felt the right kind of dramatic high school bullshit, whatever. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, that sounds like something I would have appreciated for sure. I don't know if I maybe would have felt the same as you, but I'm probably never going to watch this movie.
No.
So
no, why would you need to? I just recounted it perfectly for you.
Exactly. And I shed a couple tears in
my recounting. Yeah. I don't think there's that much more to cover about this movie other than we're not comparing the stats, but like, do you remember what a hit this movie was? This movie was made for...
It was a hit?
This movie was made for, I think, about like $12 million or something. That can't be right. Yeah, maybe that is. What's the budget?
What's the name was like in those Divergent movies and shit? I saw that around this time. But
this movie was made for however much it was made for, but it made $300 million worldwide.
Good Lord.
And I believe that it was.
I mean, do you think what was their audience that they were like
sick kids? No,
no,
just kids like romance fans and also like teens, like
because it was a novel,
because it has the heartache of a Twilight, but like with real world shit and like not like vampire stuff. Like there's definitely stuff. Obviously, you don't have to be sick to appreciate this movie.
Yeah, it probably felt more real because it was an actual novel and it wasn't just like a screenplay.
The book was very popular. Okay, so I'm seeing the budget was estimated at $12 million, and at $12 million to make over $300 million is an insane return on your.
The box office won with this one.
Yeah, and. It was a huge hit. I said we'd go through the soundtrack. I'll pull that up, but it has a 7.7 on IMDb.
Wow.
Let me see. What's that Metacritic score? I can't find it. Oh, 69. Nice. Rotten Tomatoes, 81% fresh.
Wow.
Audience score, 85%.
Yeah, but this
is a good movie. I'm not saying it's a great movie, but it's a good movie. It's competently made. It's well performed. I think it's good.
The audience who is watching, though, is seeking this out.
Yes.
So, but yeah, that makes sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course we're seeking it out. Leonard, we spent this whole first part of the podcast talking about how we avoided it.
Yeah,
so
right.
you can't rely on the opinion of people that aren't seeing it when they're seeing it. You can only kind of talk about people that.
You're correct.
Yeah, I mean, this movie was again, as someone who didn't see it, I knew enough about it to avoid it. So, like, what does that say? You know,
it was never on my radar. Like,
you don't remember it coming out at all?
Nothing about it.
Do you remember like the kind of? It feels weird to say, but like sick kid genre that it, or like weird, like it was written, the book by John Green, who wrote a number. He's kind of like
was that Mandy Moore one?
No, but like remember those like
a Walk.
Who's the author that did? Yeah, maybe A Walk to Remember. Like they did all those movies about, like Dear John, or like those movies about love and like The Notebook. The guy who wrote The Notebook.
Okay,
I'll look it up. But
I'm making Quinn do
Nick
all the
Sparks.
work. Was that?
Yeah, that's only fair. I have to do all the work.
I'm making Quinn do all the work this episode. I'm just like high and listening to Quinn talk.
The Nicholas Sparks movies, there was always those like movies about star-crossed lovers and like what John Green like seems to be doing that for teens. He did a movie called Paper Towns, which came out right after it, which also made some money, and that had like Cara Delevingne in it. I don't know.
What did you call them? Streamies? Or like
Weepies.
Weepies? I was like eyes streaming, your tears streaming out of your eyes.
Yeah.
Weepies. There's a new Weepy coming out. I saw it when I went and saw The Green Knight. I saw a trailer for it.
How was
I was
that,
just
by the way?
like, oh my God. It's like Dear Evan or Dear this therapist.
Oh, Dear Evan Hansen?
Dear Evan Hansen.
See, that was based on a Broadway musical, but yeah, it does feel very much.
I was like, why is he singing? Because in the trailer they just presented it like a movie, and then like 45 seconds, maybe a minute into the trailer, he just starts singing, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's a musical, so I'll put your fears at ease.
They're double strike. That's a double strike against me.
Yeah.
A weepy musical.
Oh, this is a movie that I look forward to avoiding.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, let's go real quick through the soundtrack, Leonard. We should wrap this up. I don't want to.
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
I don't want to wallow in my loss any longer.
Yeah.
Do you recognize? You're not going to recognize anything. We don't even need to go through this because I know that you're not. Any of these?
What do you think is the most recognizable one?
All of the Stars by Ed Sheeran.
Sure.
You don't recognize that song. I don't actually know how that song sounds. Simple as This by Jake Bugg.
Come on, Quinn. I don't know what the fuck that is.
I'm trying. Wait by M83. You know what? This was a bad idea. Here's the one song that I feel like.
I don't know this song.
Here's this one. Tell me if you recognize this song, and I'll tell you who did it. Let's try to find the chorus here. Right? Yeah.
I do know that song. It goes on and on and on and on and...
That song was on the soundtrack.
Okay.
So we found one. We found a song that you recognize.
Who sings that?
Charlie XCX.
Ah!
Is that how you pronounce it? Or is it Charlie 1000?
Bro, I'm old, but I don't know. I've seen that name written so many times, and I just saw it on Twitter or something somewhere, Instagram yesterday. And I was like, I have seen this name so many times, and I could not name a song by her.
Now you
or
can.
them. Or
Boom.
I don't know who they are.
It's a woman.
Um,
she is a woman. It's a woman. She's a woman. She makes music, and one of those songs is Boom Clap.
I literally thought about saying that, but I didn't know, and it actually was her. That's crazy. It's just weird. Anyways.
I'm going to take that as a victory and stop this bit because you have recognized one of the songs. I just remember the soundtrack being kind of like annoying. I don't really like that song, but it was omnipresent around this time.
I can't lie to you. I was listening to the A Star Is Born soundtrack for a good bit there.
Really?
No lie.
Yeah,
listen to it.
That's embarrassing for you.
Quite a bit.
I
was feeling it.
And also, like the movie, much like a lot of teen drama, like there's a lot of needle drops in the movie where they're using songs.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
All right.
We can.
I feel like I was punished.
That's the whole point of the the whole point of the thing is that I have to wallow in this with you. You rightfully tapped out of watching the movie. I remember when you made me watch Twilight, you were like, why am I watching it? And I was like, I don't know. So you this time were like, I'm not the loser. I don't have to watch it. But you do have to hear me recount it.
All right. Well,
you would not watch this movie? I didn't change your mind?
Never am going to watch this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, we're running kind of long.
That's unusual for us.
I know, right? So unusual. Season 4 is going to be a lot of fun. We got some fun guests.
Yeah, and also we anticipate season 4. We'll have news about season 4 shortly. We are looking forward to getting back into it. Hot boy summer is over. Sad boy autumn is upon us.
Yeah,
and lots of times to watch the leaves change. Recording podcasts.
Watch the leaves burn. The fire fall.
That's true. They don't change in LA.
Don't
they
fucking
just burn.
Yeah.
The only time you see a brown leaf in LA is if it's charred. So yeah, is there anything specific you're looking forward to? Other than going for the three-peat?
The three-peat, obviously.
Like our man.
Excited for the new...
Our man, Derek Jeter.
Okay, I was like, what? Derek Jeter.
Famous three-peater, Derek Jeter. Hall of
Jordan.
Fame going in this weekend. DJ 3K, we love you.
Oh, it's the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he got a couple of those rings at the expense of your Atlanta Braves, Leonard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to having some great guests, as we always do. I feel like there's some good topics that, we're going to talk with the guests. We're going to see. We don't know exactly what the topics are going to be. I'd love to do like a best remake.
Ooh, best remake
episode, season 4. I think we've talked about stuff like that before, but whatever it is, just looking forward to talking movies with you again.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. It's been a nice little break, but I'm excited to get back with you. Hopefully do more in-person recordings. We're both vaccinated. Get some guests in here and do some recordings with us. I'm excited. We're going to have some funny people on this season.
Yeah, it's good to be back in person. And when you lose season 4, Leonard, I am going to have a punishment designed for you that is much worse than watching a movie that you enjoy and buying you a shirt. So
and you have to post.
Hold on.
You have to change your. Don't forget, you got to change your photos on your socials.
I do.
To you wearing the shirt.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
am about to just take a close-up shot to make sure that we can at least see your torso and face in the profile.
My torso is my best feature, Leonard. All right. Well, thank you for bearing with us. If you have been bearing with us all season, we look forward to coming back with season 4 with some new picks. And until that time, Leonard, I'm trying to think of A Fault in Our Stars. I'll see you at the cinema, man.
Yeah, see you at the cinema. I'm ready to turn this AC back on. It's hot.
Yeah, all right. Let's get to it.